Hello and welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Rob and I've got my hand-stitched medieval shower cap on because today we're bathing in demon's blood thanks to Doom: The Dark Ages. id Software's upcoming prequel to its rejuvenated shooter arrives on the 15th of May. We've played it for a few hours, torn it to metaphorical pieces and are ready to tell you what the insides look like. Spoilers, nicely refreshed but still extremely doomy. Here are 5 big changes that will shock you, or at least show you what the game is hoping to achieve. Firstly, let's get the obvious out of the way. The whopping hunk of metal hanging off your arm is the shield saw, and it's the main reason the combat feels so different. It does exactly what you expect a shield to do, tank hits from enemies while you wait for the perfect moment to attack. Not that you're encouraged to stay in one place, you can still advance with the shield up or utilise the new shield dash ability to push forward or straight through enemies. The shield isn't capable of absorbing infinite damage either, so you'll need to stay mobile and aggressive to stay alive. It gives a new rhythm and strategy to Doom's ever-present movement. You're running with a different purpose than before. And if you're worried that the defensive properties of the shield run counter to the prevailing philosophy of Doom, don't worry, you can kill stuff with it as well. The parry mechanic enables you to stagger rushing enemies or return projectiles to sender. And while you'd be forgiven for thinking those spikes are just there because they're cool, which they definitely are, their purpose is functional. Launching the shield lets you stun lock bigger enemies or slice through smaller ones, as well as removing armor and shields. Simply shoot the offending armor until it radiates with heat, launch the shield to detach the protective plates, and then express deliver some lead to the newly exposed flesh with your favourite boomstick. Speaking of boomsticks, change number 2 concerns the weaponry. Upgrading is deeper than before, and every weapon gains multiple changes before being maxed out. For example, the combat shotgun gets a triple shot feature similar to that in Doom 2016, but now it also shoots incendiary ammo that deals greater damage and extracts ammo from fiery corpses. You'll still be switching weapons using the familiar weapon wheel, but guns that share ammo are swapped in the same segment of the wheel, meaning 6 dual slots and the series' biggest arsenal yet. And while we'll always love the super shotgun, I absolutely must tell you about the pulverizer. Basically, it's a paper shredder you point at enemies, only instead of last year's council tax bill, you're spitting out chunks of skull that the weapon chews up before your very eyes. If that's not heavy metal, I don't know what is. Literal heavy metal features in our 3rd entry, which is the introduction of what we're calling rideable badassery, or in simpler terms, piloting a mech and flying a dragon. The Atlan is an enormous mechanical suit that somehow feels as weighty as it looks and supercharges Doom's already outrageous power fantasy by having you box titans and crush tanks like they're Hot Wheels. It's also nice just to feel really, really big. And then there's the Dragon, which is part transport and part fighter jet. Levels designed around the airborne beast have you flying across the battlefield and exploring in the air, hovering to attack hell ships, and mixing things up by leaping from your steed, yes, I'm calling it a steed, and onto those hell ships to destroy them from the inside. Both of these excursions are unlike anything the series has done before, but they make for welcome additions that switch up the vibes along the way without affecting the forward momentum. Number 4, let's talk about the game's open world stages. These are new additions to the Doom formula and a bit of a departure from the heavily propulsive constant motion of the past. But it's elegantly done, and these open world segments are basically opt-in playgrounds you can engage with as much or as little as you want. Great for completionists happy to scour more caves and hidden passages for upgrade currencies, or content-hungry slayers looking to take on secondary objectives and optional enemy encounters. But if all of that sounds too much like work, there is no penalty for focusing solely on the main objective. And our final change that will shock you is just how good it all looks. Hear me out here, because Dark Ages time-hopping aesthetics are no mean feat. Yes, there's always been an archaic edge to Doom's runes and altars hellscapes, but transporting the Slayer's Space Marine hardware into a full medieval setting could have been a jarring overstretch, but instead thunks together with a pleasingly thunderous space punk vibe. Watching the sun set behind a dust cloud on the horizon while flanked by both grimy industrialism and writhing organic masses, yes, this is still Doom. And the level of detail on display is pretty astounding. In an early cutscene, I could pick out individual pieces of woven thread, and more traditionally Doom-coded, you can shoot chunks of flesh from enemies as they attack you, exposing bones and leaving a trail of bloody mulch behind them. It's good to be back. And there you have it, 5 changes coming in Doom the Dark Ages that give you a flavour of where this time-shifting follow-up is heading. The game releases on the 15th of May, and you can pre-order it now if you want to rip and tear medieval style as early as possible. Thanks for listening to our ramblings on exorcism with a shotgun. If you enjoyed this video, please drop us a like and pop a comment below on how excited you are to play Doom the Dark Ages. Subscribe to PlayStation Access for more video game coverage and updates on all things PlayStation, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
PlayStation